That is exactly what you want in a motorhome, and that is exactly why you need the Atlas Foundation from Thor Motor Coach. The Atlas Foundation is precision crafted to provide you with better fuel mileage, more storage capacity, and a better ride. And it starts with this, a bare Freightliner chassis.
The Atlas Foundation is all the things that you don't see on a motorhome. It's easy to look at the exterior and the cabinetry, but if you realize it's what's underneath it that's going to determine whether it's really strong or not.
mor-ryde, an industry leader in engineering, design, and fabrication, puts 40 hours of craftsmanship into each Atlas Foundation it builds for Thor Motor Coach. Jack Enfield from mor-ryde is taking us through the process, step by step, to show us how the Atlas Foundation is created and how it benefits your motorhome.
A foundation for a house is important, and a foundation for a motorhome is important. What happens when foundations aren't very good, you see surface cracks, and you have to compensate for that in your house. Same thing in a motorhome. What happens if the box is not very tight, when it goes down the road, it's going to have noise and rattles. You're going to see the manufacturer's going to have to compensate by using all types of cover-up because things don't fit together very well.
That is not the case with Thor Motor Coach. The Atlas Foundation really is made to fit. More specifically, made to fit each individual floor plan.
And that's so important because there's so many manufacturers that don't have the engineering capability to spend the time to design that way. And the difference between one manufacturer on a Freightliner and us is night and day. It means it's going to be quieter because you don't have all the bouncing and deflection because of the way we're putting these anti-camber bars underneath to tie everything together.
Before it is all tied together, the steel is precision cut with lasers.
The advantage of the laser is it allows us to cut with much tighter tolerances. You can't build quality into the part unless you start at the very beginning. So the advantage of the laser is we're going to build higher quality parts, and that's really going to serve us well at further steps in the fabrication process.
The storage bays are a perfect example. No leaks, no sharp edges, and no compromises on space, giving you some of the highest payload capacity in the industry with extremely large storage compartments capable of holding 1,000 pounds per bay.
Yeah, it's massive. I mean, we could have 4 or 5 people in here if we wanted to.
Some other things that we do inside of this Atlas Foundation is we also use this nice white pebble grain fiberglass for your storage bays. Most of the industry is going to use that carpeted felt material, which if you get it wet, it can get moldy, mildewy. Where with nice white pebble grain fiberglass, it's easy to clean, easy to see in low light situations.
Continuing the building process, after the high-strength steel is cut, it is then precisely bent or folded into exactly the part needed. These pieces are then handed to the artists, known as welders. With all the parts crafted, this next process sets Thor Motor Coach and the Atlas Foundation apart.
What some manufacturers do is they like to put the fabricated components a part at a time on the chassis, but mor-ryde doesn't do that. We want to build quality, so we're going to build the entire structure on a giant fixture table like you see here. What that allows us to do is positively locate every single part. It also allows us to check for flatness and squareness. Once the structure is built on the fixture, we're going to lift it with a giant hoist and actually put it on top of the chassis and secure it by welding it together.
The amount of steel that we're actually putting into our foundation, is significant over anybody else. You can actually see this when you open up the baggage doors and look up underneath. So you can go look up under the competition, look up underneath ours, and see what kind of steel is supporting the house. We actually span our trusses over top of the main rails of the actual Freightliner chassis. Now, you see it's not sitting directly on top. It's actually fixed from the side, so that's going to help with any harmonic vibration that's coming up through the chassis into the floor.
Every Atlas Foundation on every floor plan is built with such precision, there is no more than 1/8 of an inch difference from corner to corner.
If you think about it, the foundation is really what everything fits on. It needs to be flat and square. So our goal, our tolerance, if you will, is plus or minus 1/8 of an inch over a 40-foot motorhome.
What that means for you is a smoother, quieter ride. It is also a safer ride.
I've actually encountered manufacturers that will spray paint their firewalls black to make them look like steel. Well, in our case, obviously, this is a steel firewall.
From that steel firewall, from top to bottom, every piece is hand painted focusing on the hard-to-reach places to protect your motorhome from the elements.
Some manufacturers wouldn't care about that because it's out of sight, out of mind of the customer. So what we've done is they've identified these parts, we're going to pre-paint them, we'll put them on the chassis, and then we'll paint them again at the end of the process. The goal is quality at the end of the production line, and by pre-painting these parts, we're giving that customer more coverage, better protection from the elements.
The painting process of the Atlas Foundation is the final step at mor-ryde, and from here, it arrives at our manufacturing facility where it will be rolled onto the production line and brought to life. Because of the strength of the Atlas Foundation, Thor Motor Coach has the confidence to use some of the largest full wall slides in the industry.
These are some of the things that we are engineering that our competition is not.
You may never see it, but you will know it's there when you are on the road.
You get a better ride, you get more room to live in, and you can bring more stuff with you.
The Atlas Foundation, exclusively from Thor Motor Coach, made to fit.
If you would like to see sales prices from the only full-line and fully authorized Thor Motor Coach dealership in the world, visit Motorhome Specialist at mhsrv.com or call 800-335-6054. Motorhome Specialist is the #1 volume-selling motorhome dealership in the world, with over $135 million in inventory to choose from, all at one central location, making it easy to fly in from anywhere in the country and then drive your new dream motor coach home. All sale priced at a minimum of 25% off the manufacturer's suggested retail price every day. You will also enjoy the premier delivery process that can only be found at MHSRV. From the extensive pre-check and make-ready process to the only dealership performed and fully automated rain booth test in the industry, you'll see a world of difference at Motorhome Specialist. These additional detail and inspection processes are just a few of the countless steps taken here at Motorhome Specialist to help ensure that you not only receive a better selection and price, but also the unparalleled quality and service that you deserve to go along with it. So get busy living in an all-new Thor Motor Coach from Motorhome Specialist today. Why pay more? Why settle for less?